إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الكلام كلام الله، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. وبعد. Ikhwan, during this month, the month of Muharram, one of the months of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are referred to as the Shahrul Haram, the months that are sacred. This month, the month of Muharram, likewise the month of Rajab, the month of Dhul Qa'dah, and likewise Dhul Hijjah. Those months that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made sacred, those months wherein, as occurs in some of the kalam of Ahlul Salaf and the people of Tafsir, those months wherein sinning is greater and deemed greater than to perform a sin outside of these months. We have likewise within them ayam and days, ikhwan, that are sacred and are blessed. Days wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has filled, or days that Allah azza wa jal has filled with khair and with barakah. And from those days, ikhwan, this very day, Yawmul Ashoora, the day, ikhwan, that we have fasting prescribed. That fasting, ikhwan, fasting that is performed out of shukr lillah, out of thanks for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and giving thanks to Allah azza wa jal. For indeed the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he would perform the fast of this day. And we have, ikhwan, that which is related to fasting this day, from that which occurred historically, from the story of Musa alayhi salatu salam, that Allah azza wa jal gave Musa victory over his people. For indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised Musa alayhi salatu salam within the household of the biggest taghut, the biggest zalim, the biggest kafir that lived on the face of the earth, Fir'aun. And Allah azza wa jal allowed Musa to be raised in the household of Fir'aun. And that was that Fir'aun received in a dream, and he saw in a dream that an individual from amongst Bani Israel was going to overcome him and overpower him and remove from him his kingdom and his might and that which he possessed. Thus he began to kill the young ones, the newborn, from amongst the children of Israel that were living in Masr and were living in Egypt at the time. And Fir'aun himself was Qibti, and he was the king over those people. But Bani Israel who were living in that region, because of this dream that Fir'aun saw, he began to oppress them, took them as slaves, gave them the despicable jobs, and they were bound, ikhwan, by slavery under the kingdom of Fir'aun. And because of this dream, he began to kill every newborn male, because he saw in the dream that it was a male from amongst Bani Israel that would overcome him and overpower him. So when he saw that the killing of the males would result in the workers becoming lesser and less, and would result in there being no one present to serve them, he then changed his methodology and killed the males 1 year and left them the following year. And Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was born during the year that those males were to be killed. And because of the fear of his mother upon her son Musa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired to her that she should place him in a box and put him on the river Nile. وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَيْكَ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى. Allah Azza wa Jal informed us concerning that which He informed Musa of. That indeed we gave you blessings another time, and that we were beneficent to you another time. إِذْ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ مَا يُوحَىٰ. When it was revealed to your mother and inspired to your mother that which she was inspired with. أَنِ اقْذِفِيهِ فِي التَّابُوتِ. That he should be placed in a tabut, which is like a box, and then it should be placed upon the river Nile. فَلْيُلْقِهِ الْيَمُّ فِي السَّاهِلِ يَأْخُذْهُ عَدُوٌ لِي وَعَدُوٌ لَهُ. That he mentioned that likewise that box would be thrown upon the banks of the Nile, and it will be taken by my enemy, or an enemy to me and an enemy to you. And that enemy no doubt was Fir'aun and the family of Fir'aun. For when the wife of Fir'aun saw Musa in the box as a baby, she had love in her heart for him. And she requested that we should keep the child. And so the child was brought to the household of Fir'aun. When he was brought to the household of Fir'aun, no one, ikhwan, was able to suckle the child. That the child rejected the breast milk of any woman. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired the sister of Musa to request, or to make a request for the child, saying that I know of a household that will be able to suckle the child. And thus Musa was returned back to his mother. وَرَجَعْنَاكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنْ. And we returned you back to your mother so that she would receive coolness in her eyes and she would not grieve. And thus he was weaned by his own mother, returned back to his mother. And Allah Azza wa Jal no doubt allowed Musa to suckle the breast milk and take from the breast milk of his mother, and thus she was the best candidate to be the one who would wean and will suckle the child. So Allah Azza wa Jal returned Musa back to his mother. And thus he was raised in the household of Fir'aun. And that he was adorned with the garments that were given to him by Fir'aun. He was raised alongside the family of Fir'aun, being the very individual that would return back to him with the da'wah of Tawheed and with the ayatillah. So when he grew, on an occasion he entered one of the cities of Masr, and he saw that an individual from amongst the children of Israel was being attacked by a Qibti. So when he was being attacked, he turned to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, seeking the aid of Musa. So Musa came to his aid, struck him with his fist and killed him. And after doing so, he said that this indeed is from the amal shaitan. This is from the works of shaitan. Thereon after he saw him on another occasion. And he sought the aid of of Musa again. That individual, the same person, sought the aid of sought the aid of Musa. And then Musa refused to give him aid. But that person turned and said, do you wish to kill me as you killed the person before? So when the affair of Musa killing that individual from amongst the people, from amongst the Qibtiyin, when that became widespread, Musa alayhi salatu salam fled. And he headed for the people of Madian. When he did so, he did not know, ikhwan, the path. and was unaware of the route to Madian. But Allah Azza wa Jal guided him to Madian, where he came across a lake wherein the people were watering their beasts. When they were watering their beasts, he noticed two women who had animals who were not able to water and to give their flock water to drink because of those other animals and because of the other farmers. So Musa alayhi salatu salam, he took the responsibility of giving those animals water and of watering them on behalf of those two. And then he later discovered, ikhwan, that they were the two daughters of Shu'aib. And Shu'aib, who was an old man and who was an elder prophet from amongst the prophets of Bani Israel, he offered one of his daughters to Musa alayhi salatu salam in return for looking after the flock for 8 years. And it was that Musa alayhi salatu salam did. And he married the daughter of Shu'aib. After a period, and after staying with the people of Madian, it occurred to him, ikhwan, that he should return back to Masr. That he should return back to Egypt, back to the land that he grew in, back to the people that he knew, back to his own people. And so he decided to return to Madian, return Afwan to Masr with his wife. So on the journey back to Masr, during a dark night, when they had taken abode in a valley, and they were lost and did not know the way, Musa alayhi salatu salam noticed a fire that was burning, ikhwan, close to a mountain. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us of that affair. وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى إِذْ رَأَى نَارًا فَقَالَ لِأَهْلِهِمْ كُثُوا إِنِّي آنَسْتُ نَارًا. And has not the story of Musa come to you? When he saw a fire burning, and so he said to his family, wait, إِنِّي آنَسْتُ نَارًا, that verily I have recognized, or I have seen a fire. لَعَلِّي آتِيكُم مِّنْهَا بِقَبَسٍ أَوْ أَجِدُ عَلَى النَّارِ هُدًى, that perhaps I may bring you back a brand, يعني a burning flame from the fire, or that perhaps we will find guidance upon our path, يعني at the people, with the people who are present at the fire. فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا نُودِيَ يَا مُوسَى. So when he came to it, he was called, O Musa, إِنِّي أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْنَ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. O Musa, indeed I am your Lord. So remove your shoes, for verily you are in the blessed valley of Tuwa. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. And I have chosen you, so listen to that which is being revealed, or is to be revealed. إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا. Indeed, I am Allah. There is no Lord but I. So worship me. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. So worship me and establish my salah. Establish the salah for my remembrance. Worship me. So Musa alayhi salatu wassalam, when he approached that area, that which he saw and thought was fire was in actuality light that Allah Azza wa Jal had cast upon that bush, and that he was to be addressed by the Rabbil Alameen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continued to address Musa. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا. Indeed, I am Allah. There is no Lord except me. So worship me and establish the prayer for my remembrance. إِنَّ السَّاعَةَ آتِيَةٌ أَكَادُ أُخْفِيهَا لِتُجْزَى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا تَسْعَى. لِتُجْزَى كُلَّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا تَسْعَى. That he said, indeed, the hour is close to being established, and I am hiding it. Yani the day of its establishment, the day that it is to occur, so that each soul will be rewarded for that which it strived for. فَلَا يَصُدَّنَّكَ عَنْهَا مَنْ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِهَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ فَتَرْدَى. So do not be turned away from that by the one who does not believe in that and follows his desires, and thus you will be lost and destroyed. وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى. And what is that in your right hand, O Musa? قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايَ أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. He said, indeed, it is my staff. I lean upon it, and likewise I beat branches away from my flock, and I have other uses for it. قَالَ أَلْقِهَا يَا مُوسَى. So he said, throw it down, O Musa. فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى. And then it became a snake that was moving. And so Musa became frightened and moved away from it. قَالَ. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ. Take it and do not be afraid. سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتَهَا الْأُولَى. For indeed we shall return it back to its former state. وَاضْمُمْ يَدَكَ إِلَى جَنَاحِكَ فَاخْرُجْ بَيْضَاءَ مِنْ غَيْرِ سُوءٍ. And then put your right hand upon your left side, and it will occur shining bright without any blemish. آيَةً أُخْرَى لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. Another sign, so that we may show you our greater signs. So Allah Azza wa Jal sent Musa to Fir'aun with his staff as a sign, with his hand as a sign. And as Musa was soon to learn, he was going to be shown other signs, greater signs. For indeed, when he was sent to Fir'aun, he was sent, ikhwan, upon fear. For he feared for himself, because of that which occurred from him killing that Qibti and him fleeing the land. He feared for himself. Likewise, the fact that he was raised in the household of Musa, of Fir'aun, this tyrant, and he knew how he could be and how he was. He feared for himself. So he requested that he should be supported and given aid by his brother Harun. So he said, give me, or send as an aid for me, Harun akhi, ishdudu bihi, amri, azri, wa ashrikhu fi amri. He mentioned, send with me my brother Harun, that he may support me in my affair, and likewise that he may make my resolve firm. So Allah Azza wa Jal gave him that. And so they went to Fir'aun, calling him to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and likewise commanding that he release Bani Israel. وَلَا تُعَذِّبْهُمْ. And do not punish them. قَدْ جِئْنَاكَ بِآيَاتٍ مِّن رَبِّكَ. For indeed we have come to you with signs from your Lord, and peace be upon those who follow the guidance. And so Fir'aun was a tyrant, rejected the signs, rejected that which he saw from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, claimed that it was magic, claimed that it was nothing but sihr. And so he said, Musa addressed him and said that indeed you should make a gathering, Yawm Zina, on the day that the people beautify themselves. Gather the people, and we will have a display in front of the people concerning the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you believe it is magic, then indeed gather for yourselves, or gather the magicians that you have, and bring those magicians in front of the people, Yawm Zina, and then we will bring to you the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Azza wa Jal decreed that that should occur. And when Fir'aun gathered all of the magicians, and Musa commanded that you should throw first, after they threw, and then Musa threw down his staff, and it consumed all of their magic. All of the magicians, ikhwan, fell prostrate, recognizing on the basis of the ilm of the magic that they had, recognizing that that which Musa had was not magic, but that it was indeed signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ سَاجِدِينَ قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ رَبِّ مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. So the Sahara, the magicians, fell prostrate, saying, indeed we believe in the Lord of all the worlds, the Lord of Musa and Harun. So after that, Musa commanded Fir'aun likewise with the Tawheed, and he again rejected. So they came to the people of Fir'aun a number of signs, 9 signs Allah Azza wa Jalla informs us of. From those signs, the water of the people of Fir'aun became blood. They still did not believe. From those signs, they were sent with locusts that destroyed all of their crops. Large swarms of locusts. They still did not believe. They were sent a drought and a famine. Likewise, they were sent hailstones. They were sent, ikhwan, frogs that overcame all of their dwellings. They were sent a number of ayat. They were sent days of darkness. They were sent lice. They were sent flies, swarms of flies and lice, all of that. Musa informed them of that would come to them as signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still, ikhwan, they did not believe. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa that he should take Bani Israel and those who were with him from amongst the followers of Musa and from amongst the mu'minun, that he should take them and that he should make hijrah with them, that he should make the exodus and leave Egypt with them. And so they left, seeking and heading for the land of Palestine. And when they left by night, the army of Fir'aun, ikhwan, were informed of the fact that Musa and his followers were heading towards the sea. And so when they head towards the Red Sea, and the believers had in front of them nothing but sea, and behind them the army of Fir'aun gaining upon them, and a party from amongst them said that indeed, O Musa, we are going to be overcome, for we have nothing but sea in front of us and nothing but the army of Fir'aun behind us. And so Musa turned to them and said, fear not, for indeed ma'iya Rabbi, for indeed with me is my Lord. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa to strike the edge of the sea with his staff. And when he did so, the water split for Musa. And the sides of the water were like mountains. And between those mountains of waves, and between those mountains of sea, they had nothing but the bed of the ocean to walk upon. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala split that sea into 12 paths for the 12 tribes of Israel. And so all of them began to follow Musa and began to cross the seabed, being followed by the army of Fir'aun. And then Ikhwan, when they had followed Musa and reached the other side, when the last believer reached the other side, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded that the oceans should return back to its former state, and all of those who were behind the believers from the army of Fir'aun were destroyed with the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so on that day, Yawm al-Ashoora, the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed Fir'aun and his people, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam thereafter used to fast that day. So when the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam came to Medina and he saw that the Yahud were fasting on the day of Ashoora, he said, "What is this fasting that I see you doing?" So they responded by saying that indeed this is the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed Fir'aun and his people. And so Musa used to fast the day, and likewise we fasted. And so the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we have more right to Fir'aun, Afwan, we have more right to Musa than you. And thus the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam fasted the day of Ashoora, and he said that indeed if I live to the following year, I will fast the 9th day and the 10th day. But the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away before the following year. And thus, Ikhwan, the fasting of this day is something that we as believers who have more right to Musa than the Yahud, we likewise fast this day. And we establish the likes of these ibadat that have with them the expiation of one's sins, these ibadat that have with them drawing closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these acts of worship that have with them giving thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that which Allah azza wa jal has given to the believers. And just as Musa alayhi salatu wassalam used to say when he would address the believers at his time, that he would say to them that indeed fear Allah, or be patient and fear Allah, for indeed the ard, innal arda lillah yurithuha man yasha, that indeed the earth is for Allah and he will make inherit it whosoever he wills from his servants, and the end result is to taqwa. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يوفقنا وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضاه، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد، وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله.